busted on family ties. Super G, supposedly, what you claim.
Banging in Brooklyn, grinding in Greenpoint, doing work in Williamsburg, and occasionally making moves in Manhattan. This is Fight Fuel MMA. I am one half of your broadcast team, Dave Clifford, aka @FishyFridge on Twitter.
And I am Joy, @JoyGNY on Twitter.
And this is a short segment on McGregor's mauling in the main event of Eddie Alvarez. I had actually picked Alvarez to win this fight.
Yeah, if you watched any of our videos, we totally had a lot of investment on Alvarez winning.
Emotional investment.
But, yeah, I don't understand what happened. I mean, I do understand what happened.
I understand what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, McGregor's left hand just...
Happened.
It messed him up the first time it hit him. It dropped him.
That was it for him. After that
he never
first
recovered.
drop, I don't think he just recovered. And
No, I don't think he did.
Totally abandoned his game plan and just was, like, lost from the get-go. So it was unfortunate for Alvarez because Alvarez is a very good fighter and his performance was, according to him, it was not great. And
well, it's certainly...
as fans watching it, we were all, like, scratching our heads, like, what happened?
It certainly wasn't representative of what we've seen from Alvarez in the octagon, being resilient, durable, able to take a beating and continue fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is any knock on Alvarez as a fighter. It might just be that McGregor is that very good, that if he touches you, he phases you, and he ruins your night.
Yeah. I don't know, because he definitely was able to do that in the featherweight division. Seeing him hit Nate Diaz made me think twice about his, famous knockout power. But after seeing what he did to Alvarez, now he's making me think again, like, oh, okay, so he really does have some serious knockout power. But I don't know.
The Diaz fight, I think his failure to put his fighter away was in part due to the fact that Diaz is so incredibly tough. I also think...
Alvarez is so tough.
Yeah, but Diaz is tough on a different level, I think. I mean, both Diaz brothers are tough as nails. They're not in there pridefully like, yeah, I could take a beating and keep going. They're professionals. Nick Diaz threw the towel in. You never see an MMA cornerman throw the towel in. He threw the towel in I think the only fight that Nate got stopped in the UFC. So they're not trying to prove something like we're tough. Yeah. They just happen to be very fucking tough. And the other thing is 170 is too big for Conor, whether or not he says he can make it. He waffles on it. He's saying, yeah, I could fight Tyron Woodley next. I'll eat a couple ham steaks. I'll go up to 170. I'll take his belt. But then when speaking about the Nate Diaz fight, he's talking about having to fight a guy who was 3 times his size.
When they're technically in the same weight class.
You gotta pick which way you're going on that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we both picked Alvarez to win. He did not win, and McGregor's performance made Alvarez look amateurish. And that's putting it...
is not what he is. So it was just a very... impressive fight, but just odd how it went down.
So, as happens a lot with McGregor, people talk about what he does in the octagon, but there's more discussion about what he's going to do business-wise, publicity-wise,
what's
Instagram
next for him?
post-wise.
Yeah.
He has stated they have to come to him, that the new UFC owners, as he puts it, whoever they are, have to come to him and give him equity, make him a part owner, something. He believes he's taken the UFC to a new level of popularity and deserves to be compensated for that. I mean, they have celebrities owning it now.
Yeah, no matter what, but very, very minor ownership.
Incredibly minor shares.
Just terribly minor.
Something like
influence.
Jay-Z owning the Nets, I feel
like. It's like that. It's like, oh, you hear about it, but the actual numbers, it's very, very minuscule, and their influence is very, very minor. I think regardless of McGregor being on this UFC New York card. This UFC New York card was going to be historic and monumental. And Dana White had said in the press conference that a lot of UFC being legal in New York and then being able to come to MSG was in part to the company selling and the Fertittas no longer owning it. So the politics, the behind-the-scenes politics between Las Vegas and New York, or the Culinary Commission or
It's the
something
Vegas
like that,
Culinary Union,
that
actually.
had something to do with it. But we'll get into that in another video. So no matter what, like, this build-up to making it legal in New York, at this point, it was just like, seriously? Seriously, New York of all places, it's not legal? But the politics is what made it happen, but the build-up of that was going to be historic and monumental regardless. So he was kind of just riding in on that wave.
I don't
It's
think
hard
so.
to tell.
I don't
It's a
think
gray
so.
area at that point. Like,
No, I don't think so, because I don't think the casual fan gives a shit about the Vegas Culinary Union.
I am not saying that. I am saying that the fact that it's finally legal in New York, the first show in New York, it was going to be historic and
They
monumental.
were going to put on a
regardless.
crazy fucking
Because
show.
it's how
Yes.
many years in the making that it was
Yeah, they were
banned.
going to put on the best
Yeah, I
show
wasn't
they
saying
possibly
anything
could.
in the back with that. I was just saying, like, no matter what, this card was going to be historic.
Yeah, that I
because of the
totally
build
agree with.
to
They
it
were going to build the
coming
shit
to
out.
New York. Yeah,
This is
so
bigger than UFC 100. This is bigger than UFC 200.
McGregor was riding in on that wave, and they allowed him to do that. So it was kind of a mutually beneficial.
Just kind of like sliding in.
Yeah, he was riding in on the wave.
I think he contributed
He contributed.
to the wave. I think
did,
he was like
yeah.
a groundswell. That's an analogy. It's a term where you...
Well, Rousey wasn't ready for the card.
No.
Jones fucked up.
Yeah, he did.
So they're top people that have been around, and Lesnar, like, come on.
They were trying to get GSP back in, too.
Yeah,
and
all of their big people. Silva's kind of on the decline right now. So,
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean, this was their,
He's
Gregor's
their
baby
their
boy.
marquee star right now.
Yeah. Van Zant's a little too green. Northcutt's
shit,
a little too
they don't have the pulling
cartoonistic.
power. They don't have the pulling power.
These are those up-and-comers, though.
Right,
know.
but that's a build years down the line.
Yeah.
McGregor is here now.
Yeah, exactly. He's here now. He was able to ride in on this wave and make it even more great.
Yeah,
He did.
You could say that. I don't think he made the
His performance
card.
was flawless.
I think he elevated the card
Elevated. Yeah,
substantially.
he didn't make the card. He elevated it.
Substantially.
I think it's bullshit that he still has 2 belts because, I mean, if you're a fan of McGregor, you don't. Why would you want to see him go back down to featherweight? I think it's extremely unhealthy. I think without his IV rehydration that he was using in order to make the featherweight weight, I think without it, it's health hazardous.
Yeah, it's a rough cut for him.
Anyone that is a fan of McGregor, I don't agree with wanting to see him go back down to featherweight. He already proved it. He already had the moment with the 2 belts, blah, 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 blah. Which I don't think Dana White would have let anyone else do.
No, he wouldn't let Aldo do it.
Yeah.
When Aldo
But
talked
let
about
him
it.
have his moment. Let him have his, like, Madison Square Garden moment. But honestly, for, like, just health reasons. Like, don't go back down to featherweight.
Now, here is the crux of the matter. You said he's got 2 belts now. So he's the featherweight champ. He is
Which he has
the
yet to defend.
lightweight champ. It doesn't matter. He has so much leverage right now in this company.
Because they let him.
Yeah, they did let him. But
Yeah.
he is, whether it's, right now it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, they're both benefiting. I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
it's-
But we'll see where it goes. But the thing is now, it's interesting to see how much he can get. We're not even talking about who he should fight next. We're talking about what he can win in contract negotiations.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you talk about him now. Now, I'm more interested in what happens in the octagon.
Yeah, that's
So,
what's most interesting to me. And
in terms of who should he fight next.
Khabib.
Here you go. The realistic opponents that he could face. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson, Tyron Woodley now, because McGregor is
Absolutely
a promotion machine, and now people are talking about this shit.
That's
Um,
crap.
Those are the 3 obvious ones. He's not going to fight Frankie Edgar.
No.
Um,
He's not going to fight Jose Aldo.
he-
So he's not going to go back down to featherweight for his next fight. At this point, just honestly, he had his moment. We give him his moment, which he had. Now let him just focus on the lightweight division. In a stacked division, that belt needs to be defended.
He doesn't
frequently.
care. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's talking about fighting Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't care about defending his belts.
Yeah.
He's approaching it more as a businessman.
Deserves his shot. That's about
I'd
it.
like to see Khabib fight, but the argument could be made that Ferguson deserves a shot more. He's fought better opposition. He's on like a 9-fight win streak now. Both those names have got to be considered. Khabib,
first,
the build
then
is
Ferguson.
better. The build for Khabib is better. You just run video of him telling Michael Johnson that you have to give up because I need to get my title shot. And, you know, him talking to Dana White from the cage like, I'm going to crush your son. You build that fight real well. The Ferguson fight, he doesn't have the mystique that Khabib has. He's
Khabib
not as
is
scary.
1 in a million. Khabib is what mixed martial arts in this day and age is all about. Khabib is the reason why people need to evolve in the sport, and the sport needs to evolve. People like him. People like Stephen Thompson. These people that are coming in with such a craft, such a skill, such a je ne sais quoi.
Well, shit. Yeah, je sais quoi. So,
Like,
wait, I got a great segue.
okay.
This is great. So, who do you think McGregor should fight next? Do you care more about his business dealings than his in-cage fights?
I think he talks too much, and I'd rather see him fight.
Let us know, get at us about that,
Just
because
saying.
this segment is ending, and we are going into segment 2 on UFC 205, called Thompson is Fucking Tough.